Recent studies indicate a significant rise in loneliness among men, with notable declines in close friendships over the past few decades. A 2023 study showed that 27% of men have 6 or more close friends, a number that has halved over the last 30 years. In addition, 15% of men report having no close friendships at all, a number increasing 5-fold since 1990. Why is this happening, and what are the effects? And what does this even have to do with motorcycles? Let's go for a ride and talk about it.
Relationships of all kind are complicated, and they tend to come with a lot of tough questions. Have you ever had a friend you were super close with and then out of nowhere they ghosted you? Then you start thinking, is it something I did? Was I a bad friend? Are they just dealing with something unrelated to me? There's no real way to know the answer to those questions. If you think relationships are hard, trust me, you are not alone. We've talked about the mental health benefits of motorcycle riding before, but sometimes that's not enough. That's why this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. They'll connect you with a therapist who can help you find answers to some of those questions. Instead of being stuck in an endless loop of questioning yourself, you can talk through concerns with someone who's trained to help you find real answers. Fill out a questionnaire and you'll match with a well-qualified therapist in as little as a couple of days. But don't worry, if a therapist is not the right fit, you can switch anytime at no extra cost. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. And the customer support team is ready to help you if you have any questions. Going to therapy is a sign of strength, not weakness. So click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/motorcycles and get 10% off your first month of therapy. You heard the numbers in the introduction. Male loneliness is on the rise. So why is this happening, and how did men used to be, and what kind of changed over the years? So to kind of understand that a little bit better, we need to think about where men achieved most of their social interactions and friendships in the past. Now, before the 90s and the 70s and 80s, religious groups were more popular than they are today. So a lot of men would meet their friends in church and synagogue and build meaningful relationships that way. More men were associated with various clubs and activities that they did with other people, which they could make friends with. And then work. You would go to work normally to an office, and there would have to be someone there that you would befriend, and various activities after work, drinks, dinners, whatever. And so you could grow a friendship over the course of years. So male loneliness was a lot less common dating back to the 80s and 90s. But since then, it's been a slow decline, and you heard the numbers. So the biggest thing is that men are having less close friendships. So you can have casual friends that you encounter every now and then, but it's the close friendships that make the biggest difference for mental health and emotional health. And the big reason that close friendships specifically, are on the decline is that after college age, there's really no natural social interaction for men. Think about back when you were in high school and college. There would be friends everywhere. There'd be activities all the time, and you're just kind of immersed in these social interactions. Now think back to graduation. You aren't in the same place as young people anymore. You're not seeing these people from a day-to-day basis. So you're making a lot less close friendships now than you may have been when you were younger. So that also has implications with... Let me just make sure I don't get hit first. So that has implications, because if you lack close friendships, you may not have someone to speak with, and so your emotional needs may not be getting met. Another issue that happens is work and family life takes over. So if you're focusing on your career, you're focusing on making money, you may not have time for friendships, and you may not think that's important until it's too late and you're feeling lonely. Beyond that, romantic relationships are also on the decline in the United States, with less men getting married, more men remaining single, and less people having children. So that really compounds the issue of, kind of platonic friendships, with the fact that there's just not as many romantic relationships these days anymore. And think about what happened with COVID. People used to be able to go to work. COVID happened, everything shut down, people weren't going to their jobs, they were staying home, and loneliness was increasing significantly during that time, and we just still haven't recovered from that. There are a lot more remote jobs, people are sitting at home by themselves, they don't have friends to hang out with, and they don't have that natural friendships that you may make when going to an office every single day. So that kind of compounds matters. Another big issue that I've seen is that depression and anxiety rates are a lot higher right now in the United States and really in developed countries all over the world. And then you get into this kind of negative feedback loop. If you're depressed, you're less likely to go out and hang out with your friends and form meaningful relationships. Then you may get even more depressed because you feel like you don't have friends, and you're getting even more depressed, more anxious. So it's kind of a negative feedback loop that really keeps going, and it's really a tough thing to break when you're alone and you have no one to talk to and explain these feelings with. That's why I mentioned the therapy early on. So now you can't really talk about loneliness without mentioning social media at all. So many people are spending a lot of time online, and you may think, oh, I have all these online friends, but those relationships are very shallow at the end of the day. You may be talking about, I don't know, I'm a motorcycle channel. You may be talking about what motorcycles you're buying, what you're doing, what you're riding, mods and stuff, but really that's not fulfilling emotionally. You're not talking through potential issues you may be having, any kind of emotional concerns, so you're not getting those needs met. And as social media networks have become bigger and bigger, that's cut down into the social interaction time. Just look around now when kids hang out or go to parties and stuff. Everyone's on their phones. Now, when I was younger, there were no smartphones, right? We had rotary phones, we had flip phones afterwards. You weren't on the phone when you were hanging out with people. You were immersed, you were present. So you may be getting social interactions, but they're not the high-quality social interactions that you need to be getting. So we won't perseverate on why this is happening because I feel like it's fairly common or fairly intuitive for people who may be watching. So let's talk about the health risks of loneliness, since I am a physician. So one of the biggest issues that we talked about is the increase of depression and anxiety, and that kind of just gets exacerbated when you're not interacting with people and you're shut in at home. And I know some people are introverts; they prefer to be at home, but it's a human nature to seek social connection, social interaction. So you may be an introvert, but you still need some human interaction to kind of meet that natural human instinct. So from that perspective, emotional health concerns are significant. But the studies also found that there was a 32% mortality increase in people with chronic loneliness, which is likened to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Now, 15 cigarettes a day, I'm not a smoker. 15 cigarettes a day sounds pretty significant to me. You can increase your risk of developing lung cancer with that. So to think that chronic loneliness has the same health consequences is pretty crazy to me. And, if you think about it, physiologically, chemically, loneliness, anxiety, depression can increase cortisol levels. And cortisol levels have a huge role in regulating mood, regulating sleep patterns. High cortisol levels have been associated with decreasing testosterone, increased rates of erectile dysfunction, and all of those things will mess with your head as well. So really, kind of a vicious circle of negativity. So, what can we do about this? And back to the question, what do motorcycles have to do with any of this? Now, we've talked about the mental health benefits of motorcycle riding before, and there's been studies out of Oxford that have shown that men are noticeably healthier when they hang out with their male friends in person twice a week. Now, a lot of people can't swing twice a week. Most weeks can't do twice a week, but at least once a week I'll try to meet up with my friends and do something. Whether it be, soccer league that I'm in, motorcycle rides, going out to grab some food. And that's something that's really important for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So that's when the motorcycles come in. Motorcycling is a fantastic hobby. Look at this beautiful day we have today. Out in the farm country, what temperature we had? 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So after a long winter, getting out here makes me feel fantastic. And the motorcycle community is very welcoming. There's tons of motorcycle clubs you can look up on Facebook, on Instagram, locally through dealerships, where you can meet other like-minded people who like to ride motorcycles. And when you're out for a ride and you have an in-helmet communication system, you can talk through things with these friends that you're riding with. And when you're talking during a motorcycle ride, you're a lot more focused on the conversations you're having because there's nothing to distract you, really. Obviously, you have to pay attention to the road, but there's no cell phone you could be browsing. There's no website you could be looking at while having these conversations. So I notice when I come back from a ride with a friend, I feel really fulfilled because we talk about all sorts of things: work, life, family, relationships, all those things that are important to talk about. So if you ride a motorcycle, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're just a casual motorsports enthusiast, maybe the algorithm brought you here for some unknown reason, really look into motorcycle riding if it's a possibility for you. You can make a lot of new friends, and the community you make is very tight-knit and very supportive of other riders. So if you're feeling lonely, think about doing new activities. It might not be motorcycle riding, but look into a recreational sports league, or go to your, whatever religion you may be, go to your local religious organization, see if you can connect with people that way. It's just really about putting in the effort to begin with, and I know that it may be scary for some, just kind of putting yourself out there, and that's another thing that kind of leads to the loneliness, kind of the fear of rejection, which is completely normal. Everyone feels that at some point. So it definitely is worthwhile to get out there and make some friends, because really you're going to be happier. You're going to have less rates of depression, less rates of anxiety, and physically you will be healthier in the long run. So I am done rambling. Let me know in the comments, what do you do to connect with people, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.